Welcome to another episode, take two. Only Mike and Boomer know. We're doing this a second time. Episode, I think it's 29, and we're all here. And there have been some upsetting things going on in my sports world personally. Mike, I know you were affected by it. Boomer's probably just in Iowa laughing. But then, some great things have happened that have made me laugh. Always take an opportunity to laugh at the New York Jets. It's something I live by, and we'll get into that. But let's start by letting you know, if you're watching the video, you can look right there. And that's where all the social media is, all the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, right there in the box next to me. But if you're listening to the audio, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at We The Fans Network, and on Twitter at WeTheFans_Ron. And Mike?
Whoop, there it is on Twitter for some nice Braves talk. And Boom went to Dynamite on Instagram.
And for abusing Odell Beckham. Well, not really abusing him, but we'll get into that too. Boomer.
At Live with Boomer or at TCBB.
There you go. And for anybody that's new to the show, and this is something I was just thinking about before, guys, and it's something we did when we first started the podcast almost 30 episodes ago. That's kind of wild, right? 30 episodes plus the few specials we did. We've probably done about 34. 34? It's a decent
40
amount.
with some of the ones that never aired.
Two of them never aired. But yeah, I don't know how many people know, if there's anybody new listening or watching the show. Me, Mike, and Boomer are kind of not anywhere near each other. I'm in Staten Island, New York. Yankees fan, Knicks fan, Dolphins fan, Rangers fan. Yeah, I mean, those are my rooting interests. And Mike, what about you?
I'm up in Putnam County, but from Westchester, New York. Braves, Dolphins, and that's really all I care about. I mean, I like the Knicks, and we'll get into them later. Not too happy with that.
Nope. Boomer, the man halfway across the world.
The world or U.S., whatever. I'm from Iowa, and I root for all Iowa Hawkeye sports and the Raiders. I don't do NBA or baseball. That shit's boring as fuck.
And if you don't know Boomer, now you do. Be ready for more stuff along those lines. All right, so let's get right into it. Let's start now. We've done our introductions. We laughed a little bit, but now we might have to start shedding some tears. So, for anyone that hasn't seen it, you can see my live reaction to the Knicks getting the third pick overall, when out of the last three teams left, they had by far the highest percentage and supposedly the best chance to get the first pick at 14%. When the Lakers went 4, I mean, you've seen the reactions from other fans in bars and stuff like that. I mean, not just me, but everybody was going nuts. We knew we were top 3. Well, that's it. We're with the other two teams that finished at the bottom with us. Already got knocked back further in the draft. It was the Knicks' pick to lose. And if you're a Knicks fan, you know that there's only one way things like that turn out. And it's with them losing and getting screwed. Somehow, it's the first year that the NBA sets up the lottery like this. And it's the only year that the Knicks are supposed to really be able to get the first pick and hit the reset button on the whole franchise. And in typical New York Knicks fashion, they didn't even do it to themselves this time. They did everything right. And it just failed. It just failed and blew up in their face. And I'm not mad if they draft R.J. Barrett. It's fine. But it was supposed to be Zion. He wanted to be a Knick. That was supposed to be the beginning of the reset of the franchise, and it's just, as a Knicks fan, if it's not one thing, it's another.
I will say, one, it's just typical, like
it really is.
They didn't get it. It's just it's the basketball gods, whatever you want to call them. But for NBA in general, I think it worked. And what I mean by that is it now eliminates teams from completely tanking to basically guaranteeing the first pick because of the percentage changes.
No way. They'll still do it. You still get a better chance at the pick. Why not do it anyway? If you're going to suck, why not be the best at sucking?
What did the Pelicans have? A 6% chance?
Yes.
There you go. It worked. It gives the
but
team
how did that
is
didn't
the
benefit
fifth worst record just to stay.
You can't use 1 year's proof in that.
It's the first year. I don't have anything else to judge it
on.
So what I'm saying is this year it worked. It just sucks that the Knicks were due the pick, like you said, Ron. Zion, it was the perfect world. You could see him on billboards all over New York. I mean, Patrick Ewing was announcing the pick. He was up there for the Knicks, not for the pick, for the selection. It's unfortunate. I still think there's an outside chance that, maybe they can work something out. Maybe it works in the Knicks' favor. But, hey.
That leads me to the next thing that I want to talk about, because I don't want to talk about that too long. I've had enough. That was the biggest emotional roller coaster that didn't involve an actual game. The biggest emotional roller coaster of probably 45 seconds, maybe 60 seconds.
I told you weren't going to get them.
Don't rub salt in the wound, Boomer. It's not too soon.
He can't help it. He can't help it.
The thing is about it is, if you got it, everybody says it's rigged. If the Lakers would end up getting it, everybody says it's rigged.
Okay.
If the Pelicans got it, everybody says it's rigged. No matter what happened to that, people are going to be saying that the thing was rigged.
Okay, now...
how it works. I think it is bullshit that the Pelicans and Memphis both got in because they're small markets who are dying. And that's why they're 1 and 2. So they'll hopefully have some kind of juice left in the franchise because they suck. But
right, so check this out.
If New York could have got it, I could have flipped it any other way, too.
Okay, yeah, but a conspiracy theory I thought of myself was, so what's the biggest complaint about the NBA right now, right? My biggest problem with it personally is there's no competition. You have these few super teams, and that's it. And that's really all who's competing for the most part. This season has been a little different. LeBron to the Lakers kind of shook things up. But for the most part, it's still Golden State dominating everybody, right? But what
Ron,
if...
both teams needed the draft to be in the position that they're in right now. Golden State was horrible for years. Milwaukee was horrible for years. They got Giannis, and they got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. It's just... And then they added pieces that this is good for the NBA.
Yeah,
it just sucked the Knicks got egg on their face.
My point is, it's just a conspiracy theory, and I'm not saying I even believe it. I'm just saying it's a thought that... to avoid the super teams, the same way the NBA at one time vetoed a Chris Paul trade. Did everybody forget that? Okay, wait, hold on.
The NBA owned the team, though. Those are special circumstances.
But it doesn't matter. They stepped in where they shouldn't have. They vetoed a trade because of the way it affected the rest of the league, not because of the way it affected the two teams involved in the trade.
The league owned the team at that time.
But it doesn't matter. No, if you're operating the team, then you operate what's best for the team. That team does not operate for the league. But that's besides the point. We can talk about that another time. What I'm getting at is the super teams are the complaint. The league has stepped in and controlled things before where, personally, I don't think they should have. So what if this was rigged and it was for the reason of keeping AD in New Orleans or trying to keep AD in New Orleans to stop another super team, the New York Knicks, the LA Lakers, from starting? And it broadens competition because you have superstars spread out. It's just a thought.
The Knicks been on the bottom of the barrel for too long now. You think that they would get thrown a bone.
And that's terrible for the NBA.
They go out and they dominate every year. They spend money, but they're not anything that's going to do anything in the playoffs when you play Golden State and Milwaukee and Toronto and these good teams, these young teams.
What are you guys going to do if you don't get Kevin Durant and you just get nothing?
I've already had that thought. But now, so those are the next two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about Anthony Davis, and then we'll talk about Kevin Durant, because I have thoughts about Kevin Durant right now. But Anthony Davis, with Zion now headed to New Orleans, basically, is he staying or is he going? Reports are saying that he still wants out. But I don't know. A friend of mine told me that he was arguing with me, and he said that he wants to go to a bigger market and create a legacy. I said, but dude, the way you create a legacy is winning championships. It's not by going to a big market and losing. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in a big market. No matter where you are, you have to win. It doesn't matter.
Look at Tim Duncan, prime example.
Right, exactly. So I think...
Yeah, but he's one of the most undervalued superstars ever. Nobody cares about Tim Duncan.
He's like Kawhi Leonard. He's how Kawhi Leonard is now. Quiet under the radar, but great player.
Because they went to small markets, and that's why you don't want to be in small markets.
Yeah,
you don't get appreciated in small markets if you win. Nobody cares.
So Boomer, you think he's leaving?
I would. If I was Zion, I wouldn't even come into the draft. I tell him I'm either going to go do something else or go back to college.
That's
no
not
way
going to happen.
There's absolutely no way.
So you know why that's stupid? You know why that's dumb? Because what is he going to do? Come out in the draft next year and go to another bottom 5 team in the another shit team in the It doesn't make sense, dude.
It could be Chicago. It could be New York again. It could be anybody next year. You don't know that.
It could be Memphis. It could be Phoenix. It could be
San Antonio.
Dude, there's a lot more. Yeah, there's a lot more small. There's a lot more small market crap teams than there are big market crap teams.
New Orleans. New Orleans is awful. They have terrible management.
Yeah, we know you hate New Orleans. We've been through this. We know. We know.
You could name 2 people on that team right now besides Anthony Davis.
Now you could, and you will when they start winning.
Who? Name one.
Zion Williamson.
No, he's not on the team.
Bledsoe.
Unofficially.
No, he's on Milwaukee.
Whatever,
Right.
but you will. That's the point. Is if they stay together, you will know the other players on that team because they will be winning and they will have attention. Just from having Zion there is going to bring more attention to Anthony Davis. They're both going to blow up if they play together.
They're in too shitty of an area. They ain't ever going to happen.
Ronnie, what do you think it would take,
winning
hypothetically, to trade New Orleans to the 3rd pick so then they draft Zion and Barrett, who have experience, to get Anthony Davis? Like, what else do you have to give them?
So that's the rumor right now, too.
I give him Dennis Smith Jr. I give him Knox. The guy's garbage. I said that last year. Don't ever draft a Kentucky player at the top of the draft. I give them those 2 in the first pick, in the number 3 pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad.
Enough?
I wouldn't be mad about that.
I don't know.
I don't think that's enough. I think you'd probably have to give another number
Just
1.
AD? I think that's enough.
Well, check this out.
He doesn't even want to be there.
But check this out, too. But wait. So who was the other team that was trying to trade for him last year? It was the Lakers. The Lakers have the number 4 pick and a lot more to offer than the Knicks. So
No, they got nothing to offer.
they offered their whole team last year. What do you
And
mean?
he got turned down. And now Brandon Ingram has blood clots. Lonzo Ball is worthless. Kyle Kuzma's the only person who's okay.
They look real dumb for trading D'Angelo Russell so they can draft Lonzo Ball.
Yep.
I mean, that is just blowing up in their face big time. D'Angelo
Lonzo
Russell
sucks.
came out this year.
I've said Lonzo was going to suck since before he
His
got
shooting
drafted.
technique, that should have been a red flag right there.
Forget about the shooting technique. He's just not good. He's not a good professional. He's good. He's a good professional basketball player. He's not great. He's not above that. He's good. He's a bench player. End of that conversation. There's no more to say about Lonzo Ball. I don't even want to talk about him.
Big baller brand.
Ugh. Anyway, let's move on. I said I wanted to talk about AD and then KD, so let's get into Kevin Durant. Boomer, you were saying, what if he doesn't come to New York, right? Well, how about, what if now I may be scared for him to come to New York, and it has nothing to do with his attitude or anything like that I've talked about in the past. It has to do with that Achilles. Right now, there's no timetable for his return, and an Achilles is like a high ankle sprain. It's one of those injuries. It's like a shoulder injury. It's one of those injuries that, first of all, it's the playoffs and they're going to the finals. They're not going to be too specific if he's really that badly hurt. Number one, they're going to downplay it. Number two, that's one of those injuries that can absolutely get worse in a split second. So, an Achilles injury is a big, big deal. That
It's not
scares me.
It's not an Achilles injury. It can't be. An Achilles injury is one thing and one thing only. The Achilles bust, and it's ruptured, and he would already have surgery for next year if it was an Achilles. It's not an Achilles. There's nothing else. There's nothing else about an Achilles.
But that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Confused when they say it's the lower calf. That's usually Achilles injury.
Your Achilles goes into the muscles before your calf. I don't even know what they're called right now, but it doesn't go straight all the way up to your calf.
But either way, that's what they're calling it. That's the last that I've heard that they're calling it.
He's going to end up having surgery for this. Why?
You think so? See, and
he's going to end up having surgery.
And that scares the shit out of me because he's not that he's not young, but he's been playing a while already. And that injury, if you do wind up having to have surgery, is a big deal. That's a really big deal.
Especially to give a max contract too.
Right.
Because that's not a year injury. That's a year and a half injury.
What?
Well, they can't give him a max contract because he hasn't been on their team, so he can't get a max.
No, it's still
no.
It's still a max. It's just not a re-sign max. They're still going to give him the most. The Knicks can afford 2 max contracts, meaning new free agent max contracts. What?
They can do a sign and trade with Golden State and then get the max. That's the only way they can get the max.
Yeah, but it's still a max contract. You're still paying him as much as you're allowed to pay him. It's still a max contract. It's just not. You just get more. It's more. Your max contract is more on a re-sign than it is on a new contract. That's all.
Boom, Agent Ronnie breaking it down, ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome. All right, now for the fun part. Okay. The New York Jets are the most amazing franchise that I have ever had the pleasure of following along the beautiful story of the New York Jets. I don't know how you have set yourself up for what was possibly could have been the biggest free agency in franchise history, one of the best drafts in franchise history. They had the 3rd pick overall. They had their GM, who this was going to be his year to build his team. They bring in ex-Miami Dolphins coach Adam Gase. They sign Le'Veon Bell after he sits out for a year from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They draft, they sign, and then they fire their GM and vice president of player personnel. 2 different people, not the same guy in one position. And now, ex-Miami Dolphins head coach Adam Gase, who didn't want to pay Le'Veon Bell, and immediately traded Devin Lee today, is now acting general manager and head coach until they find somebody. If they find somebody. The only way that they'll find somebody is it's going to be a GM who wants to save the world.
Not a GM. I already know who they're going to.
The guy from the Eagles.
Yeah, he's player personnel. He's going to be the GM, and Diego Jeremiah from the NFL Network is going to come too.
Who's going to be the general manager then?
I believe the guy from the Eagles.
He's like head of operations or something like that over there.
Head of player personnel operations.
So
they've
now
already been in talks with him for a while about this.
So now they bring in, a situation that really never works out, so I'm happy about it. A general manager with a head coach already in place, and not only is he already in place, this is his first year, so he's stuck with him. There's nothing he can do about it. A general manager that comes in with a team that someone else built that apparently the head coach is starting to tear apart right away as soon as he got power. Typical of, if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you already know that this happens. Gase built his team in Miami, for those who don't know, and then complained about the players.
I think you guys are wrong on this.
We're not. We're not wrong.
Wait till he benches Le'Veon Bell for not trying. Just or a tweet. Just wait.
Oh, Le'Veon Bell already started. He already started. You didn't see what he said? He said...
I read something.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
It's not going to change.
Yeah, right. Like, I've been through this already. Like, been there, done that, I'll deal with it again. Like, basically saying that he's dealing with the same bullshit that he dealt with in Pittsburgh, now in New York. So what are you doing there then, bro? So then what are we doing?
Gaze is he probably walks around with like secret potion.
Oh my
That he
god.
like puts in these people's drinks, and he just wiggles and weasels his way to these positions. And I liked him for the beginning portion
Me too.
of the Dolphins' tenure. Then he definitely showed his true colors. So Jets fans, enjoy the ride.
Enjoy mediocrity.
I think they're going to be fine.
Nah.
I think you guys are wrong. I think they're fine.
He hates running backs.
What I've read from
Boomer.
Jake Glazer is that the guy's named Cody something, that they had already been saying they're going to fire the GM and stuff like that. And this Cody guy was
Then why? Wait. No. That's bullshit. That's
I've already
bullshit.
read this.
It's I don't. It's that's fine, but it's false. That's not true because what's his name? Who's
Manish Mehta.
No. The owner's son. Who's running the team
Johnson.
now? Yeah, but Christopher Johnson, I think, is running the team now. So Christopher
Probably.
Johnson is running the team now. I'm pretty sure, and
The owner.
he's been telling people for months that Mike McCagnon, this is his year. Like he gets to build his team. It's bullshit that if they say they've been talking to anybody else, because he even came out and said like things happen, like it's just things arose and it just didn't work out. They're liars. They're liars. They have nothing under control. That franchise never has. It's a joke. I love it, and I can't wait to watch what happens this year. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to not even have to pay attention to the Dolphins going 5-11. It's not even going to matter.
I think you guys are wrong.
I'm excited.
We'll be coming back to this.
Run on first down. Run on second down.
Wait, but he's gonna run with.
back in the NFL.
He's gonna run with the backup running back because he hates running backs.
He's
Why?
gonna rotate Le'Veon Bell. He's gonna rotate him. He's gonna give another guy 8 to 12 carries just to keep him fresh all season.
Why
All
was
you guys sound like is dumb Dolphins fans. That's all I know.
dude? You have Kenyon Drake and 36-year-old Frank Gore. You're
He's
running
not any
Frank
good.
Gore. Get out of here.
Drake?
Kenyon Drake is not any good. You'll see this year.
Oh my God! I think
Stop
you've
it.
already been proven wrong about
He
that,
was
dude.
the best running
Come on.
back second half of the year prior. In 8 games, he was the best running back
You
in the
ready?
NFL.
2 words. 2 words. Miami Miracle. Thank you very much. Kenyon
Who
Drake.
cares? It meant nothing. Literally meant nothing.
It meant a lot to
You guys
me.
are worse than the Jets franchise right now. That you bring up a game that was meaningless, that brought you nowhere.
that
and you're just happy because you beat the Patriots.
That play is the reason Rob Gronkowski retired.
Put him out of
Oh,
business,
my God.
baby.
You guys are delusional as
Put
fuck.
him out of business.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Watching his retirement speech.
You guys
he's
need
gonna-
more help than the Jets. I'll
in
tell
his
you that.
retirement speech, he's going to be like, yeah, I actually chose to retire because that one time Bill Belichick decided to put me in on defense when I shouldn't have been, and I embarrassed myself. Yeah, so that was it for me. We were Super Bowl, and I just couldn't face the Dolphins again. It was over. That's what he's going to say. Quote it.
He's like, oh, hey,
Write
I
it
won
down.
tons of Super Bowls, but that moment against a team that nobody gives a shit about really hurt my feelings.
That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what
There's
they're
only like
reporting.
30 people in the stands. Barely anybody watched
Yeah,
that team.
30 people, just
But
like
it
there's
hurt my
30
feelings.
people at the draft.
Shh, don't bring that
That
up.
was you guys.
Don't bring
No,
that
My
up.
buddy,
Ron.
What was
my
that?
buddy was actually, my friend was
What is it,
actually
10
at the
people?
game. It was not packed.
What is that, 10 people? What was it, 10 people there? 15?
Yeah.
Miami
Those were
Marlins
city
game.
blocks.
That was crazy. That really was. I can't believe how off I was. We were all really off, but I was so sure.
I said 20,000.
You guys
I
are
mean, that's
calling me a retard.
I didn't use that word, but yeah, basically. No, but I know, I was-
like the establishments.
I was
the,
like
people
6,000.
were like the pizzeria is full and the fucking drugstore is full.
But you know what it was too?
The people.
But you know what it was too, Boomer? You had the advantage. I wasn't watching it when they were panning through the crowd. I was turning every time they had a draft pick. So you had your eyes glued to the
Good guy.
TV so much you weren't even paying attention when we were talking to you.
Yeah, I was
busy,
in the draft.
You were too busy Snapchatting.
He was
I remember.
oh yeah, right. He was on Snapchat. He was counting how many people were in the crowd. That's what happened. That's what he was doing when he wasn't paying
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
How many people you guys think is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He was looking at like a live Snapchat feed from there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's like 60,000."
I don't think there is such thing as live Snapchat.
Whatever they have the preloaded like.
There is now. Yeah, Patrick
Live
Peterson was
Snapchat?
suspended. You like that smooth transition? Patrick Peterson was suspended 6 games, PED violation. Honestly, I don't really know much about it. Anybody?
Talked a bunch of crap about Josh Rosen.
I don't know.
Did he? Bastard.
What? I don't. No, he didn't.
Not him. I mean the Cardinals in general.
Oh yeah. But so I don't know. They haven't said what he failed, but he's not even gonna try and fight it. He said he's just gonna take the 8 games. I don't think he wants to play with
6.
them. I think he's sick of Arizona.
6
Oh,
games.
6 games. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. 6 games. Yeah. But he's not even gonna fight it.
Yeah. Mike, any thoughts?
I didn't really hear much about it. I just kind of saw it like come across the screen. So I'll have to wait and get a little bit info on it. But if he's not going to fight it, then obviously he knows he's guilty. You know, whether it's
Not necessarily. How many guys nowadays feel like if they fight it, they're going to lose anyway, and it's a waste of time? That, and look what happened with Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, how does he know that if he fights it, he's not going to be suspended for the last 6 games of the season rather than the first 6 games? If it takes that long to, you know what I mean, to go through, you don't want it. I think
he's
he's just
players' union thing.
I think
Maybe.
he's having problems with the front office. He doesn't even want to be an Arizona Cardinal, so he's just going to take the suspension and be like, whatever.
Yeah, true. But I think players also think about it as like, fine, it's 6 games, but it's the first 6 games. It's not, you know what I mean? If I try to appeal it, it's going to get pushed back. And you could wind up missing the end of the season, and that's worse.
Well, not if you're the Arizona Cardinals.
True, it's not going to matter. Speaking of the Dolphins before, made a couple of signings. Did you see it? I kind of like
Today,
it.
no.
They cut Asiata. He's been there for a little while. Yeah, they cut Asiata, or they waived him anyway. And they signed Kyle Fuller and a guy that I really liked. You might know him from Hard Knocks last year. Defensive end, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, Nate Orchard. I don't know if you remember who that is.
I don't know.
No, he was on Hard
Was he a
Knocks
starter
last
for
year.
Cleveland?
He was fighting for a starting spot. Yeah. He was all right. He was pretty good. I like. They're building a young core in Miami, especially on defense, and I like it. I'm good with what we're doing. I like that Asiata's not there anymore, only because it just needs to feel fresh. Everything needs to feel fresh. You know what I mean? It has to be completely Flores' team. I'm all in on Flores and Greer right now.
I'm excited for the scheme. I want to see like what formations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What personnel you can kind of slide in as you need it, but I want to see what the team is.
Right. What's the plan?
You know?
What's the plan? Because it's not going to be about wins and losses this year. I mean, it really might if. Teams do it all the time where you're expecting them to be, a tank year basically, and then they'll pull out 7 wins, 8 wins.
We have enough offensive weapons to at least be like middle of the pack.
I disagree.
No,
our wide receivers are horrible as a whole.
Did you forget how good Albert Wilson and
Hakeem Grant,
let alone we got Kenny Stills, a brand new quarterback who's got a chip on his shoulder.
Who?
We have
Which one?
Rosen and Fitzpatrick, but more Rosen is what I was getting at. I think we have enough offensive weapons to, like I said, to be middle of the pack.
Wilson is injury prone. And
you forget the high fives, dude.
No. I remember when they were running down the sideline together and they high fived each other. I know. I remember. But Devontae Parker sucks. I'm surprised they even gave him another chance.
I didn't mention his name.
Yeah, I know.
That, so
I know.
He's still got to prove something. I mean, at this point, it is what it is with him. Like if
he does
really, great,
they don't really have an offensive line right now. They have and that's huge. They did sign a fullback. Draft a fullback, so...
I think he's going to be good. I think they're going to utilize the shit out of him.
The fullback?
He's going to be a fantasy asset, yeah.
You think so?
The guy from Auburn, right?
I don't remember.
He was from Auburn, Boomer?
No.
The fullback that Dolphins drafted? I forget his name.
I didn't
Cox.
pay attention to
Something Cox.
I'll look it up.
draft.
I'll look it up right now. But yeah, no, I mean, I like what they're doing. I do. It's we're still like I think a year behind where we want to be. You know, I mean, it's like a 2-year rebuild. I'm thinking, right? So like before we got Rosen, I was saying that we were like doing what the Jets did the past 2 years, but we were still 2 years behind them. Like we were just starting. I think after the moves they've made and the signing of Rosen, I mean, obviously putting a quarterback in place is huge. I think we're a year behind them now. So, like, end of season next year, you know, off season of next year will really set us up for who we should be for the next 3 years after that. That's what I think.
Rosen could step up just as fast, if not faster, than Darnold. Again, same draft class, you know, different situation. Who's to say Darnold's going to be this great
Not me.
this year? He
Not
can
me.
stink up the joint, throw 2 interceptions a game.
Yep, he will.
Yeah, right. He's gonna be awesome this year.
Yeah, right. Seahorse seashell party. You ever hear
See
that?
how he ended that year? I have no idea what that is.
Chandler Cox, full
drink-
burn out of Auburn. A fullback
Drinking
out
out
of
of cups, Boomer. I want you to YouTube that after the show.
Drinking out of
I'm not a big
cups?
YouTube guy.
It's like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes long.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's like something else. You were like, it's like 2. I was like, no.
No, it's not like that. It's a little like cartoon kind of thing, but a guy is doing like a voiceover of what he's seeing, and it's hilarious. The legend is he was tripping on acid when he made it.
I believe
He's got
it.
like
Probably not a legend.
100 million views.
Have you guys been paying attention to hockey at all? I know you've been paying attention to our series, Boston and Carolina. No, nobody?
No,
Well,
Haven't watched a second.
Boston's
nobody
up.
cares about hockey, Boomer.
That's a good one.
I agree. I don't know why you're laughing.
No.
No, it's from a New York radio show.
It's from
Boomer and Carter.
Boomer and Gio in the morning. It's a soundbite that they play to Boomer Esiason all the time because he always wants to talk about the Rangers and nobody ever wants to. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I guess here would be nobody cares about hockey, Ronnie. I guess that works. But we're not gonna say that. Boston's up 3-0. I don't really like that, but we know who our team is going to be in the finals, guys. So for our Sports Decathlon pick, that's who we're rooting for, unfortunately. So that means I won't be rooting for anyone because I'm not rooting for Boston. So however it goes, it
I
goes.
probably won't watch, so.
Huh?
I probably won't watch anyway, so don't really.
Yeah. But yeah, they're on a 3-0 lead. They have a 3-0 lead in the series. So does that also mean that none of you saw the controversial overtime goal in the Sharks Blues game last night in Game 3? Wow.
Can't say.
So in overtime, you guys know in hockey you can't use your hands. You can't use your gloves, right? Yeah, so the rule in hockey, obviously, you can't use your hands, right? But I don't know if you've seen it. There's only really one time that you're allowed to grab the puck with your hands, and if the puck's flying over your head, you could reach up, grab it, and drop it down to the ice. That's really about it, right? So, guy was in front of the net. I don't remember who it was, and he kind of palmed the puck and centered it in front of the net. And his teammate shot it, scored it, overtime, game over. It's not.
What's the controversy?
You can't do that. They should have blown it dead. As soon as it went
But
in
you
his
said
hand.
you can grab the puck and drop it, no?
If it's above your head, he was on his knees and the puck was in waist high, and he went like this and kind of,
Like slapped it.
No, it was in his hand for a second. Like when you palm a ball, you know what I mean? Like it was illegal, and they should have blew it dead. And now that was Game 3, so now the series is 2-1, and that could be huge. But you guys didn't watch it.
Was it a big deal after it happened? Like was the other coach
Oh yeah,
and stuff going nuts?
The goalie went over to the refs and was going nuts. He slammed his stick, and it's still controversial. And it's basically the rule, kind of like the NFL. Like part of the play is reviewable. The goal is reviewable, but that pass isn't reviewable. It's just as if they were trying to see if somebody crossed the pylon, but there was holding on the play, and you could clearly see the holding. They can't do anything about it. They can only review a part of the play. It's the same thing. They can't do anything about it when they go back and look at it, which is stupid because that should be something that's reviewable. If a guy, caught the puck with his hand, you should be able to go back and say, nope, we got to stop play here. So, and that's huge. You're talking about conference finals, and it's just, I guess NHL is probably going to do something about it to correct it in the offseason. That's
the
really...
referee should be grounded.
Huh?
Right, guys? The referee should be grounded. Put
in a class.
They should be stripped of their stripes.
All right. Mike,
Just saying, human error happens all the time. Every year it happens.
Yeah. But it was completely different because in the NFC Championship, it was right in front of their face.
And next year we'll be saying something else.
It was 5 feet in front of them. They were standing right there staring at it happen, and it wasn't even close. It was just, no, come on. Don't get me started, please.
I can't wait till your Brave get completely fucked on something.
We have 2012 wild card game, St. Louis Cardinals. I believe it was bases loaded or like first and second.
I know you were 2012. I bet you lost your fucking mind.
It was called an infield fly. The left fielder caught the ball, maybe took 5 steps forward and caught the ball in left field, and they called it infield fly. Cost us the game.
I don't remember that. I got to go back and look at that.
It was that one hurts the heart. That's like up there with the Yankee shit, right?
And you were okay
with
the
Yankees,
it, right?
what?
Like you didn't.
No, I was absolutely furious, but
all right,
it's baseball,
That's all that matters. You hypocrite.
I wasn't calling for like the freaking to get like murdered and.
Yeah,
no, whoa! Let's not exaggerate now.
I want to go find your Twitter feed 2012 when it happened. I bet you lost your shit.
I actually tweeted something recently. That's the reason why I remembered it. It was maybe like a week ago. So it was like brought up.
Well,
but whatever. Past.
Since Boomer wants to talk baseball, I guess we'll talk baseball, right? So the Yankees have overcome their injuries. Everybody's coming back real soon.
Except for Andujar.
All right, except for Andujar, who is now having season-ending surgery on his labrum, which I have said he should have gotten before the season started. So I'm actually really happy that he decided to do that because that's one of those injuries that if you don't take care of it, it only gets worse. There's nothing you can do. I've had a torn labrum for 5 years. I don't know how bad his is. Mine is completely torn, snapped. I have no labrum anymore in my right shoulder. It's done. And there's no repairing it other than getting surgery and putting supports in my shoulder. That's the only way to fix it. So he's a professional baseball player. He puts a lot more torque on his shoulder. I'm really happy that he's getting the surgery and not almost altering his career if it really would have gotten that bad. You have an opinion on that, Mike?
I mean, they always try to, elect to go to physical therapy first before surgery, but
the reason he did it too.
You lost 2 months on him. You could have had him back 2 months earlier next season.
But the reason he did it too is because of all the injuries to the team already. He tried to stick it out, and I get it, but you don't need to shorten your career for that, in my opinion. Not as good as he is. I don't think you need to do that. But
Yankees are doing good though. They're definitely performing with a lot less than they thought they were going to have. So
and speaking of which, they actually Mike Tauchman was sent down, and he was playing out of his mind. And John Sterling's call for him sucks. All right, Tauchman, the sock man, it's terrible. That's horrible. It's so bad. He needs to come up with something else. But anyway, he was playing really good. Urshela playing really good. Aaron Hicks is back. That's why he was sent back down to AAA. So there's a big bat already coming back in the lineup. That's awesome. I can't wait till the whole team comes back now.
Your offense was pretty good. That wasn't really the concern. Your offense was.
Well, when they lost the bats, it was. When everybody got hurt, and we were already out Didi, then we were out Andujar, Judge, Stanton.
Look how great Voigt's been playing, man.
No,
that's
I know.
Such a good pickup for you guys.
But at one point, it was Judge, Stanton, Didi, Andujar. Torres was hurt. I mean, everybody was hurt, and then you had all these guys that nobody heard of coming up. Voigt stepped up huge. Tachman has been playing well, like I said. It's been really good, but it hasn't just been the hitting. Domingo Herman, the first pitcher with 8 wins in the league this year. So, I mean, they're doing it on both ends right now. The bullpen's not what they should be on paper and the names of who they are yet, but the season's still early. They overcame the biggest hurdle that they might have this year, hopefully, is starting the season with literally your whole team that you can put in, more guys than you can put in the field on the injured list. So now I'm excited for baseball because now it's only gonna pick up from here.
But you got to, Chris Sale again. So Boston is working their way back up, and Tampa has been playing unbelievable. I heard a crazy stat about Tampa. It was when they were 25 and 15. Maybe it was 2 games ago, something like that, 3 games ago. When they were 25 and 15, they were 1-7 in 1-run games. So everybody thinks of Tampa like this, team that just scrapes away these wins and it's strictly pitching. But when they win, they win pretty good. So I think they're legit.
They're 1-7. Say that again.
So when they were 25 and 15,
right.
they were 1-7 in 1-run games.
Right, so they can't close
they kept
out.
losing the 1-run game.
So they can't close out. So in close games they lose. Okay, no problem.
Which is odd because it's Tampa and they're looked at as like a.
But Mike, as a Yankee fan and just like the lineup they have and stuff, then with that stat being said, they'll never get out to a big enough lead that I have to worry about it. If they lose in close games like that, they're never going to be 7 runs. I mean, maybe it happens. It's a long season. But really, they're not going to be up 7 runs that they don't have to, you know what I mean? And even against this lineup.
They're a gritty team. I'm kind of
good.
Quietly watching them.
Listen, we both
They have a pretty gritty team. It's interesting.
Statistically, they were the best team in baseball in the second half of the season last year. I'm with you.
They're a 90-win baseball team.
Yes.
That's better than a lot of the teams in the National League.
It is, but they're in the wrong division for that to matter.
Not necessarily. I mean, again, they're in first place, Ron.
It's early. The Yankees had more players on the injured list than they could field.
I understand that, but that could happen again.
It could, but that could happen to anyone. But it happened to the Yankees. They kept pace. Yeah, Tampa's in first right now, but there's still over 100 games left to play.
Tampa Bay is legit this year. Watch out, Yankees. Watch out, Boston.
Yeah. I'll worry about it in September.
Episode 30. That's what we're going to remember it.
I think it's 29, if I'm not wrong.
29 and a half, 30, something.
29 and a half, all right. Last baseball topic, and I saved it just for you, Mike. Yeah, you know where you're going as you tilt your head down so people could see the A on your hat. The Atlanta Braves have called up Austin Riley, a move that you were talking about last week, I think, a few days before they did it, and he's already hit one, huh?
Yeah, he's a big boy, and I was calling for him to get called up 2 weeks prior. I brought it up to you guys a week prior. I said start to watch him. He had 15 home runs in the minor. He was leading in home runs, RBIs, total bases, extra base hits. He was like second in slugging percentage in all of AAA. So he found his way into the lineup. But just a quick little tidbit, Mike Soroka is doing something that is just unheard of right now. He has a .98 ERA in 8 starts this season. .098. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, and like 4 strikeouts. The game of Riley going yard. This Braves team is almost 80% homegrown, and there's like guys in AAA and AA that are the next wave that's going to be coming up. Christian Posh and Ian Anderson. I'm like, I haven't been so happy since the Chipper days.
Oh, good. Because how many World Series did you win then?
Got my ring. That's all I know. I got one at least, baby, in my lifetime.
Now I'm
going to get a few for my son's lifetime.
Know how many I got in my lifetime?
You personally? What?
Whoa, wait, hold on. You personally? Come on. You can't say that after come on. But 5 is the answer. 5.
4. One was illegitimate.
Which one was illegitimate?
The roid year. Right, Boomer? You can't count 09.
Oh, you're saying 09 was the roid year?
Yeah.
Everybody was on roid.
I thought you were saying 2000 was the roid year, to be honest with you.
Well, that was probably too, but
it was.
Probably.
The 2000, it was. The 99 2000 team.
The game was entertaining.
Yeah, but
what's
whatever.
that, Boom?
I don't care about if they're on steroids or not. It's the only time the game was entertaining.
No, it definitely helped. It definitely brought baseball back, for sure.
It did.
They needed it.
Well, look, they're doing it now again. They changed the ball. What do you think all these home runs? You think it's coincidence, all these home runs? That's a new ball. And they put the new ball in AAA, and now they have all these home runs. There, too. It's not...
I said before the season started, you're going to see more 20, 25 home run guys than you ever saw in baseball.
What about not even that? I mean, I know strikeouts are up because a lot more guys are like swinging for the fences now too, but that affects the way these guys pitch too. Like the ball's got to be coming across differently. You know, maybe faster, maybe slower. I don't know, but it's got to be different. If they change the ball, it changes everything. It changes the whole game, and they did it for home runs.
It's a little harder.
Yeah, but now that's what I'm saying. But when they throw a pitch, how does that affect the velocity?
Well, I mean, pitchers are still doing good. Like I just mentioned.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
You have Herman, who's got 8 wins.
Yep.
And a bunch of guys out there. Hader's still pitching lights out.
Yep.
Got the guy in San Diego, Paddock. He's pitching his brains out, but he's going to be on a pitch count, innings count, so he'll be capped at about 125, 150.
Yeah.
It's baseball. Boomer's super excited. I can tell his dog's like, yay, baseball.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny how we can all...
How about Ubaldo Jimenez? He hasn't broken that guy's ERA record that he had going way back in the early 2000s.
Well, he's with what, Colorado? Or
yeah. He had like a .65 for like...
up to All-Star break, I think. It was like...
Yeah.
It was like I remember that, actually.
I know.
That was nuts.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was like lights out, like getting 10 strikeouts a game.
Yeah. Baldo Jimenez. Coming right at you with the baseball shit.
Boomer, what happened in golf today? Or this week?
Ooh.
So, old Barn Rat shit the bed hardcore. He's 6 over. Tiger's 2 over. Justin Rose is even or 1 under. That's good because we need somebody to do good. Kisner, or no, we don't. Ian Poulter was, last I looked, even. We don't have anybody doing great. But we don't have
two over is going to get you to the next round, though, right, Boom?
Oh, yeah. Probably 4 over will be the cut.
So that's all we need.
We got a shot.
So most of our guys should be in then.
Besides Barn Rat, yeah.
Don't worry about Barn Rat.
Well, we'll see. Well, I forget what Poulter was at. I'd have to go back and look because he played later, and I really paid attention to the earlier rounds than I did the later rounds.
All right. Anybody got anything before we wrap up?
Who else do we have?
You're asking
Rose, Woods, Poulter, Barn Rat. Is it Kisner?
I don't know. You're supposed to know these things.
We didn't go Matt.
I'm in 2, so I get them confused on who's on what team.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know.
Because I don't have the same golfers in either one.
Yeah.
It's hockey we match.
Extra bets.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he didn't do it in hockey, and it screwed him.
Yeah, screwed me hardcore.
Yeah. All right, we're good.
We did good in the Kentucky Derby. We're mine one that I'm with that guy and us. We're like 4 spots away from each other.
Nice.
Oh well,
we got Preakness this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta make picks.
When do we gotta have him in by tomorrow?
Saturday.
All right. So
I thought you said tennis was coming. What happened to tennis?
Oh, I guess that's at the end of the month. I thought it was starting this weekend, but it's later.
True.
And the Indy 500's coming up too.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have people that can ask about that, but I don't know nothing. Oh, actually,
yeah, I don't know shit about.
No.
Sounds like Mario Andretti.
No, we have to take my cousin, Ryan.
Okay.
Is he gonna be in it?
Huh? Ryan Newman?
Is he gonna be in it?
Isn't he NASCAR, Ryan Newman?
Oh yeah.
I think he's NASCAR.
Yeah, he is NASCAR. You're right. Sorry. Maybe next
Pull
time.
your shit together.
Yeah, I know my stuff. I know my racing. What's
You're
up?
right. You're right.
We're
Not really
calling
my
cousins
cousin,
that aren't
but
really your
yeah.
cousins.
What?
Don't hate Boomer. He's related to him. You didn't know that?
Yeah. Why? I used to have another cousin that was in the NFL. Terrence. My cousin Terrence
Oh,
played for the Cowboys for a long time.
You're black. You're black on that side.
I mean, how is that not possible? So ready? I'll give you a couple things to why my answer is yes to that. Right? You ready? My grandmother is from North Africa. Very, very close friend of the family. Basically, my uncle, black man. My now brother-in-law. My now brother-in-law. Wait, hold on. My now brother-in-law is black, and my nephew will be mixed. So, fully possible. So, cousin Ryan in NASCAR, cousin Terrence in the NFL, and my uncle Paul was a really, really famous actor.
Wait, don't forget about the best salad dressing ever.
Hello.
Newman's Own.
Who do you think?
Hello.
Who do you think?
100% of the proceeds go to profit. How does that man make money? I don't know.
Who do you think that is? That's Paul Newman, bro. That's Uncle Paul.
The salad dressing?
That's Uncle Paul. It's Uncle Paul Newman. That's who that is.
Okay.
Famous actor. He has his own food company. Yeah, I know. I go to the supermarket and I tell them this is mine, so I don't have to pay for this.
Boomer, the salad dressing literally says 100% of the profits go to charity.
Ronnie just died.
No, I
There he
didn't.
is.
No, I didn't. I'm here. We're good. Yeah, but so that's a little look into my family tree. If anybody else knows any other famous Newmans, go ahead and throw them at me.
Hit him up on his Instagram and Twitter.
Well, I'll make
I wanna see.
I'll make another Twitter. It's gonna be We the Newmans. But
Fucking idiot.
are we done here? Are we good? I think we're good.
We done.
All right.
We need a big second day out of our golfers. That's all I know.
Let's go, our golfers. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at We the Fans Network, or just look. Oh no, I moved. I'm in the corner now. Up there. There it is. It's up there. Nope, Mike, you got to point that other way. Other way. There. Nope, straight next to you. No, next to you. There you go. There it is. That's it. And Boomer, you're up. There we go. There we go.
Boomer, you're so enthused.
On Instagram at We The Fans Network. On Twitter at WeTheFans_Ron. Listen to the show next week. Thanks for listening. And here's Mike.
There it is on Twitter. Boom went to Dynamite. On Instagram, Let's Go Braves.
And Boomer.
At Live with Boomer or at TCB. We out this bitch.
Let's go, Yankees.
Clip that!
See you later.
See you guys.